So the big question is, what are you trying to accomplish right now? How are you showing up for those that are around you? Are you trying to become a better friend, mother, wife, sister, teacher? Whatever it is, just know that there is always room for improvement. I recently discovered that we should always be learning, always reading something, always listening to something, always working on learning something new. So, where are you and how can I help? Hopefully, this channel helps you find some of your answers. I'm Tamaya, and welcome to Maya's Minute. So, on Friday, we attended a wedding. Ooh, yes. So, I really intended to do a live video while hubby and I were on our way driving to the wedding because we had like a 80-90 minute drive to get there. But that didn't happen because we ended up like just talking and chit chatting on the way there. So I didn't end up recording, but I wanted to just come on and just talk a little bit because I thought about I'm attending a wedding, so I just thought I should come on and just talk a little bit about like the top 5 things that I think would help you be successful in your marriage. So whether you've been married for a while or maybe whether you are newly married, um, here are some things that I feel like will help you, will um, help keep your marriage strong and keep it long and just keep you all close together. All right. So the first thing that came to my mind was it's like a little quote that people say, there's no I in team. Well, that's true when it comes to marriage too. There's no I in us. There's no I in we. There's no I in ours. there's no there's no I in one because when you two come together, you become one. There's no I in any of those words because when you get married, it's not about I. It's not about you. It's not about you anymore. It's about um, it's about how can you serve that other person? How can you help push them along to where they're trying to go? How can you help them grow and develop into that person or that person that they're trying to become or that thing that they're trying to accomplish? That's what your role is. Your role is to serve. And I know I've talked about it on previous videos, but my pastor speaks about this quite often, depending on the topic, but depending on what he's speaking about on that given week. But a lot of us get married now for the mindset is what can they do for me, but should be the opposite. Is what can you do for them? So there's no I and me. You all are supposed to be working together as a unit. You help each other out. You support one another, but don't go in expecting for all your needs to be met and all your expectations to be met and thinking the person is gonna do this and do that. And when you go in expecting certain things, a lot of times you end up getting your feelings hurt, or you ended up being disappointed because you expect from a person. And um, any person you expect from other than God, like eventually they're gonna end up disappointing you at some point because he's just a person, and no one is perfect, and no one is gonna meet your every desire, your every need. It just doesn't happen. God is the only one who can do that. All right. So that's my first point. No I. All right. It's not about you. Now, the next thing that came to my mind is being able to apologize, and this is a personal one for me because I'm telling on myself. Generally, when we have some type of dispute or some type of like disagreement, my husband is usually the one that comes and like makes the peace. He's the one that he's very quick to apologize, and the one that he's the one that's like quicker to come and make things right. I know. I'm working on the job. I am really sincerely working on it. But yeah, so um, I am able to apologize, but it may just take me a little while longer. It may take me like thinking and processing about whatever it is, but I'm definitely working on it. It's definitely like in my mind, in my heart, that it's something that I need to get better at. So I'm working on it. I promise. But yeah, don't be too proud to apologize. Like if you're wrong, say you're wrong. If you made a mistake, like okay, babe, you know what? I'm sorry about that. I shouldn't have said that. I shouldn't have done that. And just be able to say sorry. It makes things so much lighter. It even it even breaks down the wall. Like with the other person, they're able to see your heart. They're able to see, well, you know what, you know, she is able to say sorry, like when she's wrong. So yeah, be able to apologize if you do something wrong. All right. I even have to apologize to my kids sometimes. Like we all are human. We all make mistakes. So be able to say sorry when you make a mistake. So that's my second point. The next point is don't feel the need to be right all the time. Like even if you are right, like there's sometimes when he's right. There's sometimes when I'm right. But every time I'm right, um, don't I don't try to be like, hey, I told you, or stuff like that. I try my best. It might come to my mind, but I try my best not to say it because you don't want to. Is that like what's the purpose of really saying? I'm thinking about it now. Like, what's the purpose of really telling somebody I told you so? Just to prove to yourself that you were right, or just is it a thing where it's like, I know more than you, or I'm smarter than you, or I was able to make a better decision than you? Like, what's really the point of telling someone that you know I told you so, unless it's something like maybe like you warned them against, or you told them, okay, be cautious about this, or if you've given them like advice about something on a serious level, or maybe over a period of time, you've said, hey, you warned against it, but they didn't heed the warning, they deliberately didn't listen, or they like intentionally like went against what you said, then that might deserve some conversation. But just in a general sense of marriage, things happen. You don't have to say I told you so all the time. Okay, you can just let something, just let it, just let it go, let it ride. All right, even if you know you're right, it's all right. Now, next thing is give grace. We all gonna make mistakes. Nobody's perfect. We can all pick each other apart and say, you this, you this, you that, you that, you that. You don't want to do that. Don't go down that road. Don't take that route. Give grace. Be able to forgive and be like, okay, you know what? He made a mistake, or she made a mistake, and yeah, be able to just be able to let it go. You know, God gives us grace every single day. Every single day. So when your mind, when you get to that place and you're ready to start going, he did this, don't do it. Resist the urge. Focus on the positive things. Think about the good things about him, or think about the good things about her. And yeah, don't go down that road. Give grace. And this is the last thing, is make time. Like people always say, like have date night, and always, even though you're married, date each other. I concur. I agree with that. Um, Even though it's a little difficult for us in the season that we're in because our children are younger, so we have to have a babysitter. Like every time we want to go somewhere, we have to like have someone to watch the boys. So it's a little difficult, and we do not do it as often as we should. But I will say, please try to be intentional about having time with your spouse outside of when your children are around, because I remember one of the things that my pastor talked about was um, some people go through their marriage and all they ever talk about is the children, and it's all like surface stuff. And you know what's going on with the children. It's like the children are all they ever talk about, or their whole life is centered around the children. The children grow up. They grow up, they get big, they graduate, they go to college, they get married, like they leave, they go. And then, excuse me, you're there left with, husband and wife, you're there left together, and it's almost like you don't know each other because you haven't taken the time to date each other, to have conversations with one another, to see like what are your dreams, what are your desires, like you know, imagine together, like imagine where you want to go, where you want to be in 5 years, 10 years, like just dream together. So yeah, take time to um to date one another and just have that time with one another. So those are the things that you should do. Now I wrote down one don't. I wrote down one don't. And the don't is don't stop talking. Yeah. No matter how frustrated you are or no matter how upset you might be about a thing, don't stop talking. Because ultimately the way things get resolved or the way you're able to get past situations is you got to be able to talk about it. So don't hold things inside, because when you hold things inside, it ends up festering and growing, and then it turns into something that it doesn't have to turn into. Like I look at people sometimes, and it's like they were married 20 years, 30 years, and they ended up getting a divorce, and I'm like, how did that happen? But I don't know because I have not experienced that, but I think it may be just small things or things that were small at the time, but they weren't addressed. Like they didn't take the time to sit down and talk about it and really actually like get to the root of it. And I think those things continue to grow, and you end up like building a wall almost between you and your husband, or if you're a dude watching, you and your wife. So don't stop talking. All right. So those are my tidbits about marriage, and it takes work. So be intentional about your marriage, about your relationship. All right. So thanks for listening, and please hit the like button, share it with somebody, and hit the subscribe button. Thanks for tuning in. And until next time,